Miracle on St. David's Day. An afternoon, yellow and open mouthed with daffodils. The sun treads the path among cedars and enormous oaks. It might be a country house, guests strolling, the rumps of gardeners between nursery shrubs. I am reading poetry to the insane. An old woman, interrupting, offers as many buckets of coal as I need. A beautiful chestnut-haired boy listens, entirely absorbed. A schizophrenic on a good day, they tell me later. In a cage of first March sun, a woman sits, not listening, not seeing, not feeling. In her neat clothes, the woman is absent. A big, mild man is tenderly led to his chair. He is never spoken. His laborer's hands on his knees, he rocks gently to the rhythms of the poems. I read to their presences, absences, to the big, dumb, laboring man as he rocks. He is suddenly standing silently, huge and mild, but I feel afraid. Like slow movement of spring water or the first bird of the year in the breaking darkness, the laborer's voice recites the daffodils.
They flash upon that inward eye that is the bliss of solitude.
The nurses are frozen, alert. The patients seem to listen. He is hoarse, but word perfect. Outside, the daffodils are still as wax. 1,000, 10,000, their syllables unspoken, their creams and yellows still. 40 years ago in a valley school, the class recited poetry by rote. Since the dumbness of misery fell, he has remembered there was a music of speech, and that once he had something to say. When he's done, before the applause, we observe the flower silence. A thrush sings, and the daffodils are flaming.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Does I look like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with a certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still, I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, because I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me down with your words, you may cut me down with your eyes, but you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a path that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Being the gift that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise.
Do you feel adequate to the demands of this position? What qualities do you feel you personally have to offer?
Let us consider your application form. Your qualifications, though impressive, are not, we must admit, precisely what we had in mind. Would you care to defend their relevance?
Indeed. Now your age, perhaps you feel able to make your own comment about that too. We are conscious ourselves of the need for a candidate with precisely the right degree of immaturity.
So glad we agree.
And now, a delicate matter, your looks. You do appreciate this work involves contact with the actual public. Might they perhaps find your appearance disturbing?
Quite so.
And your accent, that is the way you've always spoken, is it? What of your education? Were you educated? We mean, of course, where were you educated? And how much of a handicap is that to you, would you say?
Married, children, we see. The usual dubious desire to perpetuate what had better not have happened at all. We do not ask what domestic disasters shimmer behind that vaguely unsuitable address.
And you were born?
Yes, pity. So glad we agree.
Hey, Mommy? Yes, I'm going to the nail salon, and I shall paint my nails red.
Because a bit of color is a public servant.
Because I'm proud of my hands.
Because it will remind me that I'm a woman.
Because I look like a survivor.
Because I can admire them in traffic jams.
Because my daughter will say,
Because my lover will be surprised.
because it's quicker than dyeing my hair.
Because it's a 10 minutes moratorium.
Oh, because it's reversible.
Not my best side, I'm afraid. The artist didn't give me a chance to pose properly. And as you can see, poor chap, he had this obsession with triangles, so he left off 2 of my feet. I didn't comment at the time. What, after all, 2 feet to a monster? But afterwards, I was sorry for the bad publicity. Why, I said to myself, should my conqueror be so ostentatiously beardless and ride a horse with a deformed neck and square hooves? Why should my victim be so unattractive as to be inedible? And why should she have literally... And why should she have me literally on a string? I don't mind dying richly, since I always rise again, but I should have liked a little more blood to show that they were taking me seriously.
It's hard for a girl to be sure if she wants to be rescued. I mean, I quite took to the dragon. It's nice to be liked, if you know what I mean. He was so nicely physical, with his claws and lovely green chin and that sexy tail. And the way he looked at me, he made me feel like he was all ready to eat me. And any girl enjoys that. So when this boy turned up, weighing machinery on this really dangerous horse, to be honest, I didn't much fancy him. I mean, what was he like underneath the hardware? Might have acne or blackheads, or even bad breath, for all I could tell. No, bad breath, for all I could tell. But the dragon, whew, well, you could see all his equipment at one glance. Still, what could I do? The dragon got himself beaten by the boy, and a girl's got to think about her future.
I have diplomas in dragon management and virgin reclamation. My horse is the latest model with automatic transmission and built-in obsolescence. My spear is custom built, and my prototype, armor. Still on the secret list. You can't do better than me at the moment. I'm qualified and equipped to the eyebrow. So why be difficult? Don't you want to be killed and/or rescued with the most contemporary way? Don't you want to carry out the roles that sociology and myth have designed for you? Don't you realize that by being choosy, you're endangering job prospects in the spear and horse building industries? What, in any case, does it matter what you want? You're in my way.
I hope so.
Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice.
Woo! Woo!